Coming up on NonStop Local at 4, health officials sounding the alarm in Grant County about the West Nile virus. How to protect yourself and your family. Plus, if you're heading to the Spokane Interstate Fair this weekend, how do you know if your food's safe? Jared Cottingham has more on that. And we are in a weather alert, tracking some hot temperatures and some smoky conditions. Leslie has your full weather forecast coming up.
Corey Howard and Leslie Lowe with content that connects our community. You're watching NonStop Local KHQ at 4.
And we'll just start with a live look over downtown Spokane this afternoon, where we're still dealing with some high heat across the region. As mentioned, Leslie will have a look at your forecast in just a bit. Thanks so much for joining us here on NonStop Local Digital Newscast. I'm Corey Howard. One of the biggest stories is the smoke from surrounding wildfires on top of that extreme heat. This image is from the National Weather Service in Spokane, showing where the smoke is coming from in our region. There are currently 22 large fires burning across Washington, Idaho, Montana, and southern British Columbia. Tracking those fires now, we start in Stevens County with the Crown Creek fire, now close to 11,000 acres at last check. 0% containment with just over 450 firefighters on scene. There are level 1, 2, and 3 evacuations in place. The red areas are under level 3, yellow areas are under level 2, and green areas are on level 1. That just means be ready to go. On the lower Sugarloaf fire in Chelan County, that's now at 3,700 acres at last check. 0% containment there. Level 3 evacuations are in place for Mad River Road at Ardenvohr at address 427 and up the road. Level 2 gets set. Those are for Mad River Road, address 426, River Ridge, Moe Ridge Road, Mill Street, Red Hill Road, and Two River Road. And then level 1, again, that means be ready. Those are for the north side of the Entiat River Road from Mud Creek. And the Wildcat fire, that's burning in Yakima County, 5,500 acres and counting right now. Still 0% containment on that. Level 2 evacuations are in place for Goose Prairie and Bumping River Road. Of course, since we're in a weather alert, let's bring in our chief weather forecaster, Leslie Lowe, to tell us all about it. We talked about the fires and the smoke that they're bringing in. Of course, then there's the heat. We're just dealing with it.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of everything. It typically happens. Well, take a look at this. So we've got this incredible picture. This is a picture from the Wildcat fire, Corey, showing just how large the wildfire smoke plume got over the weekend. Michael Iluquinta took this photo and shared it with us. He called it a pyrocumulus or fire cloud. The cloud is created, of course, when strong heat source like a fire quickly heats the air, causing it to rise and mix with colder air. And you can see that there. Just unbelievable cloud formations. We always say that, again, fire makes its own weather. And while it's cool to look at, these clouds can carry the smoke across long distances, which can impact our health. According to the Stanford report, wildfire smoke is 10 times more toxic than regular air pollution due to the tiny air particles of ash and debris. Long-term exposure can cause breathing problems or make them worse if you already have them. Bottom line, avoid staying out in the smoky weather if you at all can. And if you can't, then make sure that you're taking those breaks inside to get a little bit of relief. I'm going to start with why we are under this weather alert. And the weather alert is set to expire tonight, as our extreme heat advisories and extreme heat warnings are also set to expire as we get into 9 o'clock tonight. We've been in this now for the last 3 days. Temperatures today a little bit cooler, not by much. We're still well above our averages. Low into the 90s from Spokane into Coeur d'Alene, upper 80s for Bonners Ferry, and for Sandpoint, mid-90s down through Lewiston into Orofino. We do have some triple digits just up towards Brewster at 101, and then mid-90s for Moses Lake. Sometimes that smoke and haze can tamper those temperatures just a little bit, and that looks like what we're dealing with. Smoke from surrounding wildfires. We have got smoke from all corners right now, from parts of central Washington, Canada, as well as some wildfire smoke from the northern mountains and over towards Montana. Those winds right now coming in from the south over towards Cheney, very light winds here in Spokane, west-southwest to the south of us. So as that smoke pushes in the different directions that it's moving, it does settle that smoke down at the surface, especially when we're seeing such light wind speeds out there. We've got a look at our fire and smoke forecast as we get you into this evening, and we'll continue to look for compromised air quality. Air quality alerts until further notice for all areas that are shaded in gray. You can see Spokane as well as Coeur d'Alene in that, all the way down into the LC Valley. My last check at the air quality here in Spokane is in the moderate category. We are seeing some pockets of unhealthy and or very unhealthy air quality up across parts of the northern mountains. This is where you definitely want to stay indoors. Right now it is if you've got any kind of breathing concerns, allergies, asthma, you use a breathing device, limit your time outside. Now, in addition to that, we do have red flag warnings. Those are still in place. Those also set to expire tonight at about 9 o'clock for the Cascades, Cascade Valleys, and the northern mountains. The Cascades were actually set to expire last night, and then they extended them into this evening. 62 overnight in Spokane, 63 in Coeur d'Alene, upper 60s down through Lewiston, low into the 50s up towards Colville, and then we've got mid to upper 60s through central Washington. So that tops off the lowdown tomorrow. Hazy, slightly cooler temperatures, and then finally cool down on the way as we head towards the second half of the weekend into next week, with a chance of some showers attached to the cool down as well. We've been watching this cold pocket over the Great Lakes and the upper Midwestern states. Boy, those temperatures, daytime highs very fall like. Chicago sitting at 65 for a high tomorrow, 58. That's our high tomorrow in Green Bay. Right now we're dealing with some showers and possible lightning out towards Philadelphia, which I believe there's a big football game being played tonight, and so that could cause a few delays there. So we'll keep an eye on that. 89 degrees. Again in Spokane. I'll kind of zoom in and you can see a bit of a cool down for tomorrow, but still well above our averages. Low to mid 90s through central Washington over towards North Idaho, hovering close to that 100-degree mark in the Tri-Cities. All right, leave you with a look at that 7-day forecast. Some spotty showers likely on Monday, and then we'll ramp things up as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with daytime highs popping in to the low to mid 70s. Corey?
Thank you very much, Leslie. To a crime tracker alert now. A Spokane Valley man will spend more than a decade in prison after he was convicted of vehicular homicide and vehicular assault. 34-year-old Jesse Roulier appeared in court today where a judge sentenced him to 12 years in prison and an additional 18 months of community custody after his release. It was back in July of last year. Roulier was driving along Highway 27 when he crossed the center line and struck teens Rogan Morrell, Jeanette Morgan, and Noah Layton. They hit them head on. Morrell and Morgan were killed. Layton was injured. Roulier told police he had been drinking at the casino and his blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit. To a health alert now. The Grant County Health District is warning residents to use bug spray while outside after detecting West Nile virus in its mosquito population. Grant County is the third county in Washington to confirm the virus, along with Benton and Yakima counties. West Nile virus can cause flu-like symptoms in most cases. That's fever, body aches, and vomiting. Rarely, the virus can cause more severe symptoms like disorientation and paralysis, and it's more common in those with certain medical conditions and the elderly.
I want to fix the system, and that's what we're doing, fixing systematically to make premiums lower. That's what President Trump wants.
That was U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. responding to a vigorous challenge by Senator Maria Cantwell during a hearing on Capitol Hill today. Cantwell was among a bipartisan group of senators questioning Kennedy about his COVID-19 policies. Cantwell and others clashed with Kennedy over his changes to vaccine recommendations.
So you're undermining the whole healthcare delivery system, and you keep trying to point to chronic disease, but you're not putting solutions on the table to cover more Americans.
Cantwell specifically mentioning cuts to funding for mRNA vaccine research, which was the technology used to develop the COVID vaccine during President Trump's first term. Senator John Barrasso from Wyoming is a Republican and a doctor.
Secretary Kennedy, in your confirmation hearings, you promised to uphold the highest standards for vaccines. Since then, I've grown deeply concerned. The public has seen measles outbreaks, leadership in the National Institute of Health questioning the use of mRNA vaccines, the recently confirmed director of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention fired. Americans don't know who to rely on.
Kennedy defended the firing of the CDC director, claiming she was dishonest. In your money news, a new report from the Washington State Office of Financial Management outlining potential impacts of tariffs on Washington families. The report suggests families would see higher costs over the next 2 years, about 16% for groceries, 7% for clothes and shoes, and 20 to 25% for new and used cars. That's on top of a potential loss of tens of thousands of jobs and less overall revenue for public services.
If you spend $200 a week on your groceries, you'll be spending an extra $128 per month.
Based on the models, weaker sales and less business activity could lead to more than $2.2 billion lost from the General Revenue Fund by 2029. Earlier this year, the state announced a budget crisis to the tune of $12 to $15 billion. That was before the tariffs. For your health news now, if you're heading to the Spokane Interstate Fair, you're bound to stop by one of the food vendors there. NonStop Local's Jared Cottingham explains what to watch out for to make sure the food you're eating won't make you ill.
I'm here at the Spokane County Interstate Fair, where the food and the rides draw thousands of people, and to ensure the food is safe, inspectors are checking every truck and booth to ensure the health code is being followed.
When we do our inspections, those are unannounced. Now, if a vendor has risk factors that need to be corrected during that inspection, our inspectors walk through that with them right away. We want that corrected before we even leave the booth, making sure that they're ready to pick up safe food service right after we exit.
The work begins before the fair even starts. Food vendors meet with the Spokane Regional Health District to secure their permits. Inspectors check equipment, storage, and food handling practices once the fair begins. They're out on site every day conducting unannounced inspections. One of the biggest focus areas is temperature, making sure cold foods stay at 41 degrees or below and hot foods hold at 135 or above. To handle the September heat, refrigerated semi-trucks are brought in, and vendors rely on ice chests or plug-in coolers to keep supplies safe.
These refrigerated trucks are specifically designed for keeping food 41 degrees or less in any number of conditions. We recommend that our operators utilize these refrigerated trucks whenever they can, and then when the food is inside their booth, just bringing as much food in as they can manage successfully, using ice chests filled to the top with ice, or using their refrigerators or freezers that they actually plug in and keep with them right in the booth.
While food inspectors will be on site throughout the fair, there are a few things you can do to ensure your fair meal is safe. Keep an eye out for the food prep. Watch out for things like hand sanitation, gloves, and cleaning stations, all factors that contribute to a safe fair meal. Reporting in Spokane, Jared Cottingham, NonStop Local.
All right, and the fair starts this Friday, tomorrow, and runs through September 14th. You can still get some pre-sale tickets, but those end tonight. Adults are $11, while youth, senior, and military cost $8. Parking is $10 per day, and that is cash only. And it's going to be a fun time out there. Leslie, you want to go to the fair?
Let's go to the fair.
Let's go to the fair.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we wrap up this digital newscast, we can't leave you without letting you know that tomorrow, on top of the fair starting, National Cheese Pizza Day. If you needed an excuse to pick up your lunch or dinner, now you have a reason to celebrate with my very own cheese pizza, as Kevin McAllister would say.
I mean, isn't every day pizza day?
It should be.
It should be. It's one of the food groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, and also, hey, it goes good with football, which is...
It always goes good with, it goes good with everything.
All right. That's
yeah,
it
and there's some football going on today.
Yeah, I'm just...
You gonna jet? Are you out of here?
Champing at the bit here to get out.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to go watch the
Fly
Eagles.
like an eagle.
Go Birds,
Get out of
and
here.
have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.